I think we can get started. Hello and welcome everyone. Today is February 10th and this is Metal3 community meeting. Just a reminder that this meeting will be recorded and posted later on the Metal3 YouTube channel. If you have any items that you want to discuss today, then please go ahead and add it to the agenda. Also, please add your name in the attendees list. So I will also quickly share the document if someone wants to add any items on the agenda for today. So, okay, to start with, as usual, like if there is someone new on the call, you can use the time and give us a brief introduction about yourself. And I will mute myself for a couple of seconds if someone wants to introduce. Okay, I think we don't have anyone new on the call, then let's get started. So the first two items in our agenda is, from me, the first one is there was an issue opened in Metal3 docs to purge the offensive languages from Metal3.io repositories. This movement also has started in other projects like in Kubernetes. I think same in Cluster API. So basically, there might be a couple of items that we need to take care before we move to another branch, like a main, possibly from master. I know that GitHub was planning to make it easy to migrate to another branch so that like we or the maintainers of the project, whoever has the admin rights, will have to do like less manual work. And I recently checked the document and I saw that they have made it already like possible to migrate it like much easier than before. So basically like they will do migration for many things, including the open PRs, branch protection rules, like release and everything. So I just wanted to just bring it up and then like let everyone know that it's already possible if we're going to move to the main soon. And just wanted to ask also, are we planning to migrate soon, or like is it like in the backlog? Anyone has any comments or questions or comments on this? Okay, if no, then let's keep going, and I think we can continue the discussion on the issue itself. So the second item is updated the tracking issue. Yes, I updated the tracking issue for the Docker hub pull rate limit issue that we were facing in the CI. I was thinking to put a document and as last time we discussed, I wanted to put it in infra, but I was not sure where exactly. So I just updated the issue itself, like putting some notes like how we run the CI and how we fix it currently, like the workaround for avoiding the pull rate limit issues in the CI. So if someone wants to check, there is a link. You can go and read it at the bottom. Any questions or comments on this issue? Nope. Okay. Let's move on then. The next item is from Furkat, node reuse proposal for review. Furkat?
Sure. Hey, I wanted to bring up your attention to the new proposal. So it's about the node reuse, and maybe I will give a quick introduction what we are trying to achieve here. So we have scenarios like operations like upgrade and remediation, and the main motivation behind this proposal is during this upgrade or remediation operations, we want to make sure that we will be able to reuse the same pool of hosts while deprovisioning bare metal hosts. Currently, there is no mechanism available in Metal3 to pick the hosts that are already used. So we are trying to implement that mechanism so that during the provisioning of bare metal hosts, we will will basically leave some labels in the BMH itself, so that in the next run, when we have the new machines and new Metal3 machines, um, uh, cluster API provider Metal3 machine controller will pick the specific machines that has the labels on it, like not reuse. If it's set to true, then those BMHs will be picked up and reused again, and it will have like consumer ref set to certain name. So if you go through the proposal, everything is like explained there. If you have any questions and comments, you're welcome. So please review.
Thank you. Any questions or comments or early feedbacks on the proposal? Okay, I take it as no. Then yes, if you guys have time, please go ahead and like review the proposal and give any feedbacks that you have. So the next item is from Himanshu, request to review the presentation framework PR. Himanshu?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Cool. So yeah, so I submitted a sample presentation along with some details like a README file on how to possibly deploy the presentation, and then if you want, you can export it into a PDF as well. So yeah, there was some issues with some MD markdown rules, so I fixed those. But other than that, I have tried to include some brief description about all the packages used. So I have used the Reveal.js framework. So please let me know like how does this look. So if you check, like I have included this under the docs directory, and so the full path would be presentations, and each presentation would be a standalone directory itself, where it will contain the HTML and or markdown files. In this example, I don't have a markdown file yet, but you can do that as well. You can include a markdown file. And other than that, if there are any diagrams or images associated with that, so I thought like it would keep things in one place for a particular presentation. And so that was kind of the idea. So please take a look and let me know how does this look.
Great. Thank you, Himanshu. Any questions or comments on this proposal? I had a question. So like, if we want to use this in the future, like let's say I want to create a presentation, is it so that I have to write whatever I want to present in the markdown and then put it in this folder and then run something that will generate the HTML, or
Yeah, so basically, so yeah, I mean, one step would be so you have, there are variety of things you can do with Reveal.js. Like I have tried to keep things simple. So I'll see if I can include another example as well. But yeah, I mean, basically, you can include markdown files as slides, so or a set of slides, and you can insert those in between. So for example, like an existing presentation is here, and you want to build on top of that, like you want to add some more content, and so you can always write that into a separate markdown file and do that. And so it's I mean, like the markdown format, I suppose like most of us are familiar with that, so writing a simple presentation is not that difficult. Of course, like if you want to have build some kind of those shapes, for example arrows like or circles, etc., that might have, you might need to use some another tool, or like of course like reveal.js also has slides.com. I'm sure you might have heard of that. So that is there as well, but in this like I thought like I try to keep the focus just on the content itself, and if any diagram was needed, like I just kind of built that somewhere and in the tool and kind of captured an image for that. So but of course like that is one way to use it, and you can also use direct HTML. It will also accept that. So I mean like there is, you can take a look at the documentation to see like there are a lot of other options to try as well, but so I try to keep it simple by having a markdown format, so that like anyone who knows like is familiar with markdown can write a simple presentation easily with this. And of course like a HTML5 presentation is pretty simple to deploy, like if you follow the steps mentioned here. But if you want to export this into PDF, then that also is again not that difficult. Like for example, I use Backtable, but if you find any other better option or any more user friendly, then we can of course use that. And but I mean like if you want to export it to PowerPoint or similar formats, then there might be a few more steps and there might be some formatting loss. But I guess like since the presentations are simple enough, so it shouldn't be that big of an issue. So that was kind of the motivation. But so of course like if you feel like there are any issues with the approach, like we can, since this is a proposal for that anyway, so we can always discuss. And if this framework doesn't work out for us, like it doesn't seem much practical, then we can always move to a different one. So
Yep, great.
did,
Thanks a lot for explaining that. Yeah, I just didn't read the proposal yet. I'll take a look. Thanks a lot.
thanks.
Any questions? No? Then let's move on. The next one is from Ashu. Kindly review pull requests. Ashu, do you want to talk about them?
Yeah, sure. So actually these two pull requests are for the adding new parameters into the SWCC. So these two, means first one is for the firmware and the system vendor parameters, and the second one is for the disk and the NIC sub parameters. So these are actually almost means approved. The tag is approved, but we need actually LGTM. So this is these two are pending. So all the review comments. I think this one is given just.
Okay. Yeah, I just saw that Dimitri was also
Yes.
leaving some comments. Maybe you could just answer them. But otherwise, if if no one has any other like comments or questions on the proposal, if everyone is okay, maybe whoever has
Yes.
the preview rights, approval rights, would be nice to give an LGTM.
Yes. So and the same means work in progress. And the coding PRs are also raised if anyone want to see the code.
Okay.
Yeah, this is for the NIC, and the second one is for the disk. And for the firmware and the system vendor, we have already raised in previous month.
Yeah. Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Anyone has any comments or questions on the either proposals or the pull requests?
Yeah, I honestly don't quite like what I see here, because at the very least I see two places where vendor is specified. So we have vendor and manufacturer. I would quite like to try to duplicate that if possible. Also, I'm a bit confused why we need to specify product name as a mandatory for system vendor. So kind of product name as mandatory field of system vendor is weird, because product name is not part of the vendor, if you understand what I mean. So I wonder if it could be like shorter. Oh, and I did not leave a comment, but you have minimum speed that has to have some units. So minimum speed gigahertz, megahertz. I'm leaving a comment too.
Okay, sure. Actually, we will change the name according to the. Okay, so this is the product name we are saying, and there is duplicate in the form. The names and the this product name, actually we have picked it from the structure format from the which we got from the BMO. So that's why we actually duplicated that same thing.
Right, but BMO provides everything that it can detect, right? And if it has vendors in several places, it's good. But maybe I don't understand what please excuse me, I'm not exactly familiar with this hardware classification controller, but I assume that's a request from a user to find something, to
Right.
limit nodes.
Yes.
If that's so, it's ideally we should not have the same field in two places. Maybe you have reasons for that. I just don't know, but
Actually,
it's good to
we
think
discussed
about it.
it with the Doug actually, and we came to the conclusion that if we keep the same structure format which BMO provides for the hardware details, that will be the easier and easy to understand. Means the if like for example, here is the product name. Then if you user provide the product name, then it is easy to understand that some product name will be there under the system vendor into the hardware details. So same thing we kept into the hardware profile which user provide.
So maybe then remove vendor from firmware. I understand it's there in BMO, but we don't have to replicate all fields, right?
Yes.
We can
Okay,
have
sure.
only firmware bias, only version there, and the system vendor we can have manufacturer. I would suggest make product name optional because I can easier see people requiring Dells than people requiring specifically ours, so it's 640.
Sure.
Dimitri, actually, all the fields are optional. If you don't provide the product name, that's also okay.
Okay, gotcha. Then the wording is a bit confusing because user needs to provide your writing, and maybe user can provide. It's line 95.
Yes. We will update it.
Acha, okay. So we will
Yes.
change that line.
It looks like
User
updated.
may
Yes.
provide or may not provide.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Thank
yeah,
you. Yeah.
it's
Thank
very
you, John.
unfortunate that we don't have units in BMO, but I suggest we have units here. So go with minimum speed, GH or GHZ, and maybe change BMO if possible at all.
Sure. We can provide here the units also. Thanks for the comments, Dimitri. We will update it.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Any other questions or comments? No? If not, then like it would be really nice if we could then address those comments that Dmitry left, and let's see how we move on from there. Okay, the next item is from Dmitry, ready to merge the pull request. I think it's a proposal, right, Dmitry?
Yeah, it's the one we froze last week.
Yep. Yeah, it's been a week. I I remember. I don't know if yeah, I don't see either Mile or Zane or Dak who has the approval or rights. So I can ping them on the proposal asking that if they're okay to merge since the consensus are now over. Would that be
Great,
okay?
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. So that seems to be the last item. If someone still has anything to discuss, please, you can use the time since we still have 40 minutes.
May I run one idea in front of you guys?
Go ahead.
So we know that there's this situation where Redfish Virtual Media driver is not compatible with their machines. So there has to be iDRAC Virtual Media. And with a new ironic release, it will be hard error actually to try use Redfish Future Media with Dell machines. So I wonder what you think if Metal3, bare metal operator specifically, on seeing a Dell machine and a user input being Redfish Virtual Media will automatically change it to iDRAC Virtual Media. What do you think?
I don't have any comments. I'm just thinking. So why do you think it would be really hard from the ironic? So you have like kind of made it like difficult that it will throw so many errors, or you said that with the new version of the ironic it will be hard?
So yeah, the problem is the implementation of virtual media requires an additional action to boot from CD. It only has, so it requires a specific driver on the ironic side. Previously, we would allow you to use the generic driver with their machines, and that would fail eventually, but not immediately. So it's going to be an immediate error now. And so, yeah, to be clear, it's not like a new problem. It has always been a problem. Just ironically, will become very vocal about that very soon. I'm thinking if we could help users who did the wrong thing, who used Redfish Virtual Media with their machine, if we could help them by just automatically fix the driver.
Yeah, that for me it sounds reasonable. So that it would be also nice to let them know at the same time that okay, we're now changing this, so that they are also aware that this is going to be changed. Any other comments on this?
I'm sorry. So Redfish is also supported on HP machines, right?
Redfish Virtual Media works with HP machines, yeah, without any additional problems.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
So
we
only
had
for
some
Dell
issues,
machines.
but yeah, this problem is Dell specific.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, then I think it makes sense to. So this will be kind of a fix for Dell specific, right? Like on BMO side. So it will automatically convert it to iDRAC virtual media, so that like Ironic can accept that, right?
Right. And we don't need to decide right now. I'm going to write the design proposal. I just wanted to check with you if it's a good idea or not.
Yeah, definitely a good idea, I think, because a lot of organizations use Dell machines, so it's quite could be very useful.
Okay, thank you. That's all for me.
Thank you, Dmitry. Any other items that someone still wants to discuss? Oh, I remember that we started also this updates round where like people were basically sharing or giving an update on what they're working on. For example, during this week, or what they're planning to work during the next week related to Metal3. So if someone wants to share, please go ahead. No? Okay, if there is nothing, then I think we can close the meeting. Then have a nice rest of the day and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye.
Bye bye.